That's
Bro,
true.
that should have never been the style from the start.
Yeah.
So right out of the gate, they didn't get the concept. How would this guy have learned and trained and known how to wrestle?
What's going on, everybody? It's Dr. Chris Featherstone here for yet another episode of Riding with Russo. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, Riding with Russo, Vince and I were talking off the air, man. You know what? We want to thank the fans, first of all, that every single week you guys make Riding with Russo a very exciting show what to talk about. So check this out. How about you follow me on Twitter at Chris Prolific and follow Vince Russo on Twitter. What's your handle again? The real Vince Russo.
At the Vince Russo.
The Vince Russo. Yeah, at the Vince Russo. Chris Prolific here. The Vince Russo here. And hey, man, look, follow us and let us know some topics that you want us to talk about here on Riding with Russo. Let's make our job easier because we literally think about these topics every single week. So we get some suggestions from the execs, but we think about these all the time. But this one really wasn't hard to think about whatsoever. A very huge surprise of a release. There were two releases. To me, one wasn't necessarily a surprise for me, although he's, one of the greatest, or if not arguably the greatest of all time. The other one was a really big surprise. This guy is Vince Russo puts him over all the time as being someone that he wished, if he was a writer, if he were to come back up after nearly a decade hiatus from the writing, this is the one person that he would come back for. And this person is Bray Wyatt. Vince Russo, he got released from the WWE. Please tell us your thoughts on Bray Wyatt getting released. And again, you said this before. Look, if there was one person that you'd come back for, it would be to get your hands on Bray and get those writing creative juices and allow Bray to really work on his brand and give you that idea. You talk about all the time when you work with Rock, when you work with Stone Cold, it was all about protecting their brand. Mm-hmm. You were always willing to listen to ideas they have, pitches they have.
I was always willing to lick what? You said to lick. I'm not licking anybody, doctor. I'm not licking anyone, doctor. Not even the bouncies. I wouldn't even lick the bouncies, doctor, with this coronavirus going around. Come on now.
It was I quickly said look.
Okay, so. All right. Hey, listen, Chris, there's a couple of things here. A couple of very interesting things. First of all, you know what I realized today, bro? I realized today, which is an absolute sin. This is an absolute sin, bro. I didn't realize this till today. Bro, we never got to hear The Fiend cut a promo. The Fiend never cut a promo. Bro, but in my opinion, the Fiend would have cut Jake Roberts' promos. Fiend promos would have been phenomenal, and we got cheated out of that. Okay? Chris, they had the three faces of Wyatt.
They did.
And they had a talent, I'm going to tell you, and I think Mick would back me up on this. They had a talent that was every bit as talented as Mick Foley.
Oh, yeah.
Every bit as talented. They had the three faces of Bray.
Similar build, similar mind to the business, absolutely.
Yeah. Bro, this isn't about dropping the ball. Like, I don't. Bro, it's almost like to not get the three faces of Bray over with a talent like this. I'm telling you, Chris, it almost had to be on purpose.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how you would not be able to get this guy over and allow this guy to get himself over unless you are purposely trying not. It seems impossible to me, bro.
Yeah, I agree. And to further, talk about what you just said there. So they tried the whole three faces gimmick at different times during the Braun Strowman feud last year when Braun won the title. He beat Goldberg at WrestleMania. And then right after that, they did a feud with him and Bray. So they did the the current state of Bray at the time. It was like 3 different iterations of Bray, but they didn't do. I think they waited till a while to do the Fiend. Yeah, because the Fiend was at the tail end of it, and that's when Roman Reigns came back on SummerSlam, and then like a week later, he beat the Fiend for the title. So I think it was Fiend who beat Roman. If I'm not Fiend beat Braun at SummerSlam. If I'm not mistaken. If I'm saying this correctly, if I remember correctly, and then a week later, Roman comes in, heel Roman comes in, and beats Bray, I think it was. But that the Fiend was at the tail end of the whole Braun feud. They did the whole swamp gimmick, which was just really weird, and then the current Bray, and then he did like the Firefly Funhouse Bray for a second. And then they did the old school Swamp Bray, did the Fiend Bray. It was just different times.
Chris, you can't write the story if you don't know how to write it.
Exactly.
It's that simple. You can't write it if you don't know how to write it. It's that simple. And here's another thing. We talked about something, and Chris, of course, I take credit for everything. So therefore, I'm going to give credit to who brought this up today because it was a very interesting point. Disco Inferno, Glenn Gilberti, today on one of my shows. Bro, this depression, mental illness, whatever you want to call it, bro, you got to understand something. That stuff does not register with Vince McMahon. Like Vince McMahon would never in a million years understand depression, not feeling good, mental illness. He is old school, bro. Whereas, bro, you either coming to work or you're not coming to work. And especially if it's like not a physical injury that Vince can see and there are some issues up here, bro, he's never, ever going to understand that. And at the end of the day, he's just not going to deal with it. I think that's what happened here. I really believe that's what happened here. But bro, this has to be the biggest drop. I think this is a bigger drop. I'm going to be honest with you than when Bischoff let Austin go. I think this is a bigger drop than that.
I can see that because although Austin was uber talented at the time, no one would have thought that Stone Cold would have came out of that. When he released him, yeah. So, but Bray, Bray, as far as the creative talent is concerned, is miles and miles above what Austin was at Stunning Steve Austin U.S. Championship. Although he was a really good heel and he was a good person for the business at the time. Austin didn't start to really become his own until ECW. The whole superstar Steve Austin gimmick, feuding with Mikey Whipwreck and stuff, he started to cut those promos, started to get a lot edgier. So we didn't see any of that with Austin. But with Bray, you're letting him go on the back end. Like before you see like any evolution of creative talents, you let him go on the back. Same with Black. Same with Aleister, now Malachi Black. Yeah. You're letting these talents go on the back end of them showing you, hey, look, if you give me the reins, no pun intended, I will put butts in seats. I will draw you money if you give me the reins if you give me the ability to just create and have ideas similar to like Jake was, I will draw people. And it's quite clear that they'll do that. But for some reason, Vince, and you said this before, when Vince doesn't really get it, it's not his fault. It's their fault if he doesn't get it, which I don't understand, Vince.
And bro, we're also we haven't even brought up the fact we're neglecting the fact. Bro, this is a second-generation wrestler.
Exactly.
Bro, I am telling you, all second-generation wrestlers get it.
Yeah.
They get it. They sat down and talked with their dads for hours and hours and hours. They get it. They understand it. That alone is a huge advantage. So you take the fact that he's second generation, his family in wrestling, he had this unbelievable creativity and character. And man, like I said, bro, unless this was intentional, I don't know how it happens. I don't know. I swear to God, bro, if I could not get Bray Wyatt over, I would fire myself.
Right, man. Yeah, exactly. That's a really good point. And it's like, again, if it all this makes it seem as if Vince McMahon is too proud to admit that he just doesn't get it. I mean, that's what I'm getting, because like you said, I mean, as much as we saw the creativity of Bray Wyatt throughout the tenure of his career, even the Swamp Bray, even the vignettes with Luke Harper, Brody Lee, and Eric Rowan, even those vignettes. And I'm all about building the character before you step in the ring, and that's what I liked about the Swamp Bray gimmick, was the fact that it was weeks and weeks of vignettes, getting us really excited, really charged. We don't know who he's targeting. We're trying to figure out if they're a face, if they're a heel. And then we find out Kane's the target, leads to the SummerSlam match, and wins the first match. It was, rather decisive. And that was a good way, after all those vignettes, to really say, okay, now he's a major player. And unfortunately, for some reason, they decide to lead this to a match at Cena at WrestleMania, and Cena to go over. What an idea was that?
But Chris, right off the bat, they missed the point immediately. And I'll tell you exactly what it was. Bro, you saw this guy's character.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, these guys were straight out of Deliverance.
Yep.
Living in the backwoods, like who knows what the hell's going on back there. Okay, these guys were straight out of the Deliverance. And bro, first time we saw him, he wrestled. So now this is three guys living in the backwoods, but they train to wrestle. That
Right.
should have never been the style, bro. That should have never been the style from the start.
Yeah.
So right out of the gate, they didn't get the concept. How would this guy have learned and trained and known how to wrestle?
Yeah.
They missed it. They missed it right out of the get-go, bro.
Yeah.